Close your eyes for a second and picture your grandmother's bathroom counter. No rows of serums, no $40 dry shampoo, no hot tools with a cord tangled around everything. Just a bar of ivory soap, a glass bottle of vinegar, and maybe a tin of cornstarch. And her hair? Thick, shiny, and styled so perfectly it lasted the whole week. She wasn't cutting corners. She knew something we've forgotten. And by the end of this video, so will you. I'm going to share 20 hair tricks that were standard practice in American homes for most of the 20th century. They cost pennies, they worked beautifully, and somewhere along the way we were quietly talked out of all of them. Stay with me, because number 5 is the one that genuinely changed everything for me, and number 1 is something I think every woman watching should try this week. 20. The once-a-week wash. Let's start with the one that surprises people most. Women washed their hair once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks. Not because they were neglecting themselves, because their hair thrived on it. Friday night was bath night in most homes, and hair washing happened then to make efficient use of the hot water, a bar of ivory soap, a warm rinse, then a cool final rinse. If the hair squeaked between your fingers, it was clean. Hair that was washed weekly trained itself to produce less oil. It held a curl for 7 full days. Then, in the mid-20th century, synthetic detergents arrived, shampoos that stripped the scalp so aggressively that oil production went into overdrive. The scalp fought back, and suddenly, women needed to wash every day just to keep up. The shampoo companies had, accidentally or not, created a problem they were perfectly positioned to solve. Today, the no-poo movement has gone viral, with thousands of women online rediscovering the beauty of washing less. They think they've found something new. Your grandmother was doing it in 1952, but here's the question I know you're already asking. If she only washed once a week, how on earth did she keep her hair looking good in between? We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about what happened on wash night when she had daughters to take care of. 19. Rag curls. Mothers tore old cotton bed sheets or flour sacks into strips. They wound sections of damp hair around each strip, tied them off, and sent the girls to bed. By morning, perfect curls. Cost $0. The strips were soft enough that children slept comfortably through the night. By dawn, when mother untied each one, long spirals tumbled down, ready for Easter Sunday, for picture day, for the first day of school. No heat, no damage, just a Saturday night, a mother's hands, and a worn-out pillowcase. 18. The chamomile rinse for blondes. Fair-haired women brewed strong chamomile tea, cooled it, strained it, and poured it through their hair as a final rinse. Left in, not washed out. A handful of dried chamomile flowers from the pharmacy, 10 cents, boiled for 10 minutes. Strained into a mason jar, used consistently, it brightened blonde and light brown hair naturally, a shade lighter, a shade warmer with every wash. The salon highlights you're paying $85 for every 6 weeks. A tea kettle was doing that in 1954. 17. Sugar water setting lotion. 2 teaspoons of white sugar dissolved in 8 ounces of boiled water, poured into a glass bottle on the vanity. Sometimes a few drops of perfume oil added for a personal touch, applied to damp hair before rolling or pinning. It held a curl through a summer afternoon, a church picnic, a dance on a warm evening, 5 cents of sugar from the kitchen canister. It outperformed every styling product on the shelf today, and nobody could ever find a way to patent it. 16. Cornstarch dry shampoo. Now, back to that question I left open. How did she keep her hair fresh between washes? This is how. A light dusting of Argo cornstarch or Johnson's baby powder at the roots, worked in with the fingertips, left for 2 minutes, then brushed out with a boar bristle brush. Hair that was flat and oily at breakfast was full and clean by 9 o'clock. The beauty industry repackaged this exact idea in an aerosol can and now sells it for $12 a bottle. Dry shampoo is currently a $3 billion global market. The ingredient didn't change, only the price did. 15. The gelatin rinse for strength and shine. Knox unflavored gelatin, the kind in the red box, 10 cents a packet. 1 teaspoon dissolved in a cup of warm water and poured through freshly washed hair, left in, not rinsed out. It coated every strand in protein, the same pure animal keratin that salon treatments charge $40 or more to deliver today. Less breakage, more body, a shine like glass. She used half the packet for her hair and made a jello mold with the other half for Sunday dinner. 14. The egg shampoo. 2 raw eggs beaten in a teacup, worked through hair and scalp, left to sit, then rinsed with lukewarm water, never hot, or the egg would cook into the strands. The lecithin in the yolk acted as a natural emulsifier. Hair felt like silk, heavy, clean, impossibly soft. No sulfates, no stripping. The egg cost 3 cents in 1952. It worked because it contained the same proteins hair is made of. That's not folk wisdom, that's chemistry. 13. The mayonnaise treatment. A generous scoop of Hellmann's real mayonnaise worked through the mid-lengths and ends, head wrapped in a warm, damp towel, left for 20 to 30 minutes while she sat at the kitchen table with a magazine. The egg and oil in the mayo are identical to what salon protein treatments use today. The vinegar in it sealed the cuticle flat on the way out, leaving hair that moved like water. The jar sat next to the mustard in the icebox. She used it for sandwiches and for her hair, and felt no contradiction in that. 12. The rosemary rinse for growth. Fresh or dried rosemary simmered in water for 20 minutes, strained, cooled, and poured over the scalp as a final rinse, not washed out, massaged in with the fingertips. Modern peer-reviewed studies have now confirmed what grandmothers already knew. Rosemary has been shown to be as effective as minoxidil for promoting hair regrowth. Last year, rosemary water went viral across social media as though someone had just discovered it. She was growing rosemary in a clay pot on her windowsill 70 years ago. The industry now sells rosemary oil for $28 an ounce. 11. The beer rinse for body. Flat beer, left open overnight to go still, poured through clean hair and left in. The B vitamins and proteins in the malt and hops coated each strand individually. The yeasty smell faded as the hair dried. What remained was weight, movement, and a shine that caught light like polished wood. A can of Pabst Blue Ribbon cost 15 cents. Professional stylists still whisper about this one. 10. Lemon juice highlights. Half a lemon squeezed into a glass of water, combed through the hair, then an hour sitting in the sun. By the time the streetlights came on, there were streaks of gold that looked like they'd always been there. The citric acid is the same active ingredient now bottled in a laboratory dropper for $65. The lemon cost a nickel. 9. Finger waves. A rat tail comb, a glass of water, and practiced hands. Wet hair pinched between the fingers, combed in alternating directions to create an S-shaped wave, then held with aluminium wave clamps while it dried. Waves that looked like they belonged on a Hollywood screen, made with nothing but a 5-cent comb and a skill passed from mother to daughter. You couldn't buy it in any store, you had to learn it. 8. The silk scarf sleep wrap. Every night before bed, a square of silk or satin folded into a triangle and tied over the set curls. In the morning, one gentle removal, a few strokes with a brush, and the style was still there. Not an $80 silk bonnet from an Instagram ad. A scarf from the notions counter at Woolworth's, 25 cents. The style lasted 3 or 4 days because the scarf held everything in place through the night. It wasn't vanity, it was respect for the hours she had already put in. 7.5. The rollers, the home perm, and apple cider vinegar. Brush rollers worn to bed every night. The discomfort of finding a comfortable sleeping position, learned quickly, and waking up to a full set that lasted all week. The Tony Home Permanent, a $2 box kit that gave a woman what used to cost $5 at the salon, done right at the kitchen table, and apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon in a cup of warm water, as a final rinse that sealed the cuticle flat and produced a shine that lasted all week. Nobody could patent vinegar. That, it turns out, was always the real problem. 4.2. Volume, ritual, skill. Here's something worth noticing about almost every one of these techniques. They required a woman to stop, to sit still, to wait. The egg sat for 15 minutes. The rollers stayed in all night. The mayonnaise needed half an hour under a towel. These rituals built rest into the day. The best beauty routines of that era doubled as the only quiet moment a woman ever got. That wasn't a flaw, that was the design. Back combing with a rat tail comb gave lasting volume without a single product. 100 brush strokes before bed, with a real boar bristle brush, distributed the scalp's natural oils from root to tip, and produced a sheen no silicone serum has ever matched. And a single bobby pin, drawn carefully through each freshly set curl, was the difference between a mass of frizz and a finished hairstyle. Skill. Passed from one woman's hands to another in the quiet minutes before the rest of the house woke up. 1. Pin curls every single night. Sections of damp hair wound around the index finger, coiled flat against the scalp, pinned with 2 crossed bobby pins, a silk scarf tied over the whole arrangement. 7 minutes each night, 5 minutes to style each morning. A box of DeLong bobby pins, maybe a nickel's worth of sugar water. No cord, no plug, no $90 curling iron, just a woman's hands and the patience to do something right before she turned out the light. The average American woman now spends over $200 a year on heat styling tools alone. Her grandmother spent $2 a year on bobby pins and got better curls. 20 tricks. Not one of them needed an internet connection, a beauty influencer, or a credit card. They needed a lemon, a comb, a bar of soap, and the knowledge that you already had everything you needed, most of it already in your kitchen. These women weren't behind, they were ahead. They solved every problem we are now paying $100 a month to solve. And they did it before the children woke up. Somewhere right now, a grandmother is winding a pin curl. The bobby pin slides in, the scarf goes on, and without a single word, the lesson passes on. If this brought back any memories, or if you're going to try one of these this week, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found this useful, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We're going back in time again very soon, and trust me, you'll want to be there. See you in the next one.